Police chief suspends officer for handing over wanted fugitive to ICE. Although he did a good job, the police officer was still suspended because he did something he shouldn't have done. The officer's action raised a lot of questions related to the jurisdiction and the duties of police officers. A police officer in Northern Virginia thought he would be rewarded for catching a fugitive, but what he got was a suspension. He couldn't believe the reason for which he was taken off his duty. However, the policeman had no choice but to follow the orders. The fateful incident took place on September 21 when a Fairfax County police officer was controlling a traffic accident in the Groveton community south of the city of Alexandria. While investigating, the police officer realized that one of the drivers in the crash didn't have a Virginia driver's license. Obviously, the policeman held the driver and conducted a check to verify the person's Department of Motor Vehicles record. During the inspection, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, informed the official that the inquired person was wanted on an administrative violation warrant for failing to appear for a deportation hearing. The unnamed police officer then contacted the ICE agent listed on the warrant and gave the driver a summons for not having a license. The person signed the summons, and after which the policeman detained him, and this is where he went wrong. According to the department's arrest policy since 2007 and its training had been very clear that personnel do not enforce administrative warrants or take people into custody for them. The department has barred officers from confirming individuals' immigration status and taking them into custody solely on civil violations of immigration law. Individuals who are accused of offenses and are arrested have their immigration status checked when they are booked at the county jail. Also, the incident comes as immigrant communities in Fairfax County and across the nation are on edge amid stepped-up immigration enforcement by the Trump administration. Many liberal jurisdictions such as Fairfax County have sought to limit their cooperation with ICE amid anger over the president's policies. The driver was released by the ICE after 3 hours and was issued an ankle monitor. Chief Edwin C. Roessler Jr. of the Fairfax County Police Department said that he learned about the whole episode through an email. He then ordered an investigation into the episode and concluded that the police officer had no authority to enforce federal law. The chief did not identify the officer, who was relieved of all enforcement duties, or the driver. As a matter of full transparency to our community, our police officer violated our long-standing policy and deprived a person of their freedom, which is unacceptable, Chief Roessler said. He further added, "Our county is one of the most diverse counties in the nation and no one should have the perception that FCPD is acting as a civil immigration agent for ICE. This matter damages our reputation and the long-standing policy that I have stated many times, that our officers shall not act as immigration agents." Roessler said the officer had been on the job for only a few years but that it did not excuse the error. He said the officer was aware it was a mistake and had not willfully violated the department's policy in cooperation with ICE. Under the Trump administration, the federal administration had also scrapped plans to put a center for unaccompanied minor children in Northern Virginia, after protests. In May, Fairfax County approved a legal fund for undocumented immigrants fighting deportation. Last year, the Fairfax County Sheriff dropped an agreement with ICE to hold inmates suspected of being in the country illegally past the end of their sentences. Luis Aguilar, the director of CASA in Virginia, applauded Roessler for quickly investigating the incident and publicly releasing details. But he said the relationship between immigrant communities and authorities remains fragile, potentially leading to fewer people coming forward to report offenses and serve as witnesses. Once the person signs the summons, they are free to leave, the chief said. The engagement should have been over. Chief Roessler said that the officer's administrative leave with pay required remedial training. ICE said in an email that its partnerships with law enforcement agencies were essential to maintaining public safety. However, it deferred comment on the Fairfax County case to the police department there. This incident was another example of how the lines between the duties of local law enforcement departments have become blurred. Some states have laws that limit how much the local police can cooperate with immigration authorities, forming so-called sanctuary cities. In 2017, President Trump signed an executive order saying he would halt funding to municipalities that did not cooperate. Another episode took place in Maryland when a truck driver called federal authorities on a woman in distress after having just watched her car catch on fire. The woman's family told reporter Talia Juarez she was in constant fear something like this could happen and had begged a tow truck driver that day not to call local authorities. Unfortunately, cases of unfair immigrant arrests are becoming all the more common in Maryland, violating people's constitutional rights and wasting police resources that could be going toward more pressing matters. It turns out that state transportation police, per their policy, shouldn't have arrested Nora in the first place because she was not subject to a warrant. That small mistake could be life-changing for Nora, who could get sent back to a country that she found dangerous enough to flee. Her 3 children who remain at their home in southwest Baltimore are left without their mother for the time being.